a Druid for the Undertaker. What was that experience like, and working with WWE?
Man, you guys are good. You guys are so good. I mean, some of this stuff, I'm like, wow, they done their homework. You guys are really, really good. I'll tell you that right now. I give all the credit. Well, you guys are really good. Yes. So I was able to play a Druid for the Undertaker. The night before, I was actually a football player for. I believe it was Cedric the Entertainer was the guest host of Raw.
Okay.
So the night before on Raw, I got to do that. I was a football player coming out of the limousine with like the Bella twins. We had a goat, a rabbi with the baby. It was a hilarious spot. But doing the SmackDown with the Undertaker, man, it was so neat. When they got us together, they said, "Okay, this is what we need you to do. You're going to be playing a Druid. You're going to be carrying the coffin down to the ring. It's going to have Teddy Long in it." It was right around the time CM Punk and Undertaker were doing their storyline, and they were building up to Hell in a Cell.
Okay.
For the World Heavyweight Championship. So it was. I remember putting on the outfit and thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I've seen this so many times on TV. It is so cool that I'm going to be a Druid. And, the Undertaker comes up and he put his arm on my shoulder, and I turned around and he's like, "Oh, my Druids." And it was such a cool experience. And then to be there, I mean, it's one thing to be able to wrestle in front of, 20,000 people. But the moment when you're standing there, and I believe it was either in Tulsa, Oklahoma, or Oklahoma City, but it was in Oklahoma. But to stand there and knowing that, okay, I'm fixing to come out, and then that gong hits, that Undertaker music hits, and you start walking to the ring. It was nervous at first off because, the black cloak they put you in, they put a black, kind of a mesh, like mask over your face so nothing is seen, that kind of deal. You're carrying a coffin. You don't want to drop it because Teddy Long's in there, and you don't want to trip. The Druid outfit goes all the way down to your feet, and you're kind of nervous at that, but then you realize that you're walking down to a WWE ring. CM Punk is standing there in the ring looking at you, and you're walking down carrying a casket, and the Undertaker's music is playing. Man, that was just so cool.
I mean that it sounds like, intense, honestly.
Yeah, it was intense. It was one of those where, man, I don't. It's hard to explain. It's kind of like an out of body experience. It was so cool, the fact that I'm walking to the ring, and you're nervous because you don't want to. You're going to be that guy. That on national television, carrying Teddy Long in a casket. The one Druid, no one ever was, but you'd be the one Druid that would trip and fall and would be an instant meme for the rest of your life, kind of thing. But luckily that didn't happen. But you're nervous about that. But then you, at the same time, it's like an out-of-body experience. I mean, you hear the Undertaker's theme song, that gong, that music playing, and you walking to the ring, and 20,000 people, the flash cameras going off, people just going crazy. It's one of those, it's hard to explain how you feel in that moment, but man, it was so awe-inspiring.
Now, was you thinking, if you did actually drop Teddy Long in the casket, did you think he was going to pop out and say, "Now you're in a match against the Undertaker"?
That would have been perfect. All right, player, you drop me, you're going one-on-one with the Undertaker. And it was cool because, there at Memphis Wrestling, we got to work with Teddy Long, last year. He came in and done some stuff with us there. And it was so cool, just kind of going full circle and being able to see him again. And it was such a great thing. I'm so thankful for everything. I'm so blessed for everything that I've been able to do in the wrestling business. A lot of people will say, "Well, you never, wrestled on WrestleMania, that kind of deal." But I mean, that was never my goal. To me, I'm one of those guys that is kind of like an artist. I want to paint my picture. I want to tell my story in the ring, and I would rather be able to do that on a smaller scale for Memphis wrestling, for example, rather than going and telling someone else's story, on that stage. To me, I've done so much great stuff, and I'm blessed for everything that I've done. But I'm one of those. I'm an artist. I want to be able to paint my picture. I want to be able to tell my story to as many people that will be able to see it. But to the level to where I'm able to paint the story that I want to paint.
Right. And no, I absolutely understand that, and I actually really respect that as well.